Have you ever started a new habit and it feels like your life is falling apart? Like you're trying to change your life, but it feels like you're getting worse. You're more tired, more stressed, and in 1 week, you're back to your old habits. Now, some of us start this journey of self development. We start adopting better habits. Some people start reading, start exercising more. You start trying to become better. You start trying to change the version of you that you don't like, only to quit after, say, like a month or so. Now, personally, I wanted to escape a version of myself that I did not like. Like, I wanted to change my life because I said that if I continued living the way that I was living, the future that I wanted for myself, I wasn't going to have it. So I discovered self development, right? I discovered it as a concept. I started trying new habits, started doing new things like leaving my comfort zone, reading more, those things that are involved in self development. But I noticed that along the line, while I'm trying to, adopt this new habit, it feels like I'm getting worse because I'll try my best to do these things, but somehow I find myself going back to old habits. A new habit started feeling I couldn't keep up. I mean, only me wanted to change my life. I wanted to start waking up early, going to bed early, stop the habit of doom scrolling, start investing my time in things that would benefit me more, like reading books about investment, about the mindset, about growth, and all of those things. Trying to be there for my friends, trying to become a better person, trying to just keep up every aspect of my life, my finance, trying to, think of ways I could make more money. I mean, it was so overwhelming, and I found myself going back to old habits. One time I asked myself, is this self development thing even really worth it? Like, I mean, can't I just live my life? For a full month, I went living my life like how I used to live it. Like, those new habits I was trying to adopt, I did not practice any of them. I just found myself doing the normal old me thing, the normal old me stuff. So I understood that, look, it's like I'm getting worse. So, like, all the things I said I want to change about myself, I find myself doing them. So I decided to look it up to check what could be the reason for this, to find ways I could tackle this problem. And I found out that this is actually a biological something. Like, it is natural. It's only natural that when you're trying to change something for yourself, it seems very hard at the beginning, or say at the middle. So, based on what I found out, one of the reasons why it feels like you're getting worse, even when you're trying to change your life, is that you're disrupting your comfort zone. Your brain loves familiar patterns, even though they are unhealthy. I mean, even though those habits you're trying to change are unhealthy, your brain loves them because they are familiar. And changing familiar patterns, changing something you've used to cope for a long time, requires so much mental energy. That's why when you're trying to change them, you have this urge to go back to the normal. It feels like it's not working, so you want to go back to the normal. Another thing is the backward law. Now, this is a concept that basically means, or that basically tells you that when you're trying to change your life, you're focusing on the things you're lacking. For instance, you're trying to improve your fitness, right? Or your finance, or any of those things. So you focus on what you're lacking, which in turn makes it seem more deficient, makes you seem more deficient, right? So it feels worse because you are trying to get these things that you don't have. Now, the most interesting part of all these things is the high expectation part. When you start a new routine, when you start a new habit, you have high expectations. You have this zeal to push through, to keep up with this new habits. So when you start failing, or when you don't keep up with them, you feel like a failure because you had high expectations. So this in turn makes it feels like you're getting worse. So all of this put together explains why it feels like you're getting worse when you're actually trying to change your life. Now let's use an analogy of building a house or renovating a house. I think renovation is better because when you build, you're starting from scratch. But like when you're renovating, you're trying to renew something that's already been built. Hope it makes sense. Now, when you want to renovate a house, you have to scatter it. Like, you have to break down some things that you want to take away, things you want to change. At the beginning, it's messy. If you go into a renovation site, it looks very messy. It's not this beautiful thing that you admire. But with time, with consistent effort to renovate it, when they finish the renovation, it's something that you admire. So I want you to take that analogy and put it in your life. At this stage where you're feeling like your life is getting worse, it's the renovation stage. Of course, you're scattering, breaking old habits. So it's going to really feel like it's not working. It's going to feel stressful. It's going to require a lot of mental energy. But if you can pass through this messy middle, I assure you, you're going to have that life that you want for yourself. Now, the people you look at and they have this really crazy discipline, like their habits, they cannot go back to their old habits. Like they have really good habits, basically. It's because that has been their coping mechanisms for years. They've trained themselves so much that that is their normal. Like that habit you're seeing them exhibit is their normal. But you and me, we are trying to get there. So it's going to be hard until we consistently train ourselves, even though it feels worse, to keep up with that habit. That means we can make those habits our normal. I hope it makes sense. Yeah, that's the good news. You can actually overcome this messy middle where it feels like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this. This is not working for me. If it feels like you're failing, you're actually right on schedule because you've dismantled your old life. You've just not finished building the new one. Now, the key isn't in working harder or like, this toxic hustle culture. No. The key is trusting the systems you built when you were thinking clearly. Like before you started this journey of self development, you built these systems in your head that you want to do this, you want to be like this. So trust that system. And every time your brain, or anytime you think you are failing, or anytime you feel like it's not working, you're going back to your old habits, remind yourself that progress is not linear. Progress is like renovating a building. It takes time, right? You're going to fall and rise up. You're going to destroy and build. So remind yourself every time your brain screams at you that, oh, this is not working, let's go back to the old habits. Remind yourself that this takes time. And as long as you keep showing up, you're going to build these beautiful habits for yourself that you really want. And your future self is going to thank you. So this is what you can do. Every time you feel like quitting that particular habit or those sets of habits, I want you to just set a timer for 10 minutes. Just do 10 minutes of whatever it is. You don't have to worry about the result. Just 10 minutes of the process, and you're going to see the transformation this is going to give you. You're not going to transform overnight. I'm not going to lie to you. But with time, you're going to see that your brain has no choice but to just succumb to the new habits you're trying to create for yourself. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope this really made sense to you. And I want to just remind you that transformation is like, a demolition before it becomes a masterpiece. So just keep swinging the hammer, and maybe you would end up rebuilding this old version of you that you would really be proud of. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.